everybody. Welcome back to Mortgage Ballers. My name is Rich Hanlin, and today, actually, I'm going to make a little adjustment here. Watch this. Look at that. That was magic. Right on the spot. Magic with my high-end technology. I am Mr. Matt Hardy. Now, Matt, thanks for coming on the show today. I appreciate your time. I know you're very busy, and we're going to find out why here real shortly.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Why Matt Hardy? Why should you know that name if you don't know it? Matt Hardy is one of the top loan officers in the entire nation. All right. That should pique your attention. Matt Hardy also has one of the top teams, loan origination teams in the nation. If that doesn't pique your interest, not just individually, but he has a team. He has some top performers that are on his team. We'll pull the names out in Noel Bennett, and we'll throw out Megan Lamorato. Hey, Megan, I said your name right. But on top of it, I believe the team is called, is it Greenlight Mortgage Group?
Yep. Correct.
All right. Always got to get that right. And I'll put all that information down below because some of you might want to reach out to him. And when you understand, there are team concepts and there are individual concepts. And Matt has figured out the best of both worlds to where he has high-end closings and fundings of his own with his own relationships. And he's taught his team and partnered with his team. And they all dial in each other to bring each other up to a level that's incredible. And where are you guys out of?
Boulder, Colorado.
Okay. Do you guys do business out of Boulder, Colorado? Well, out of Colorado. Let me say it that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We have we have people on the team licensed in a lot of other states, Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, and so on. But yeah, mostly Colorado, I'd say. Oh, New Mexico too. I should say New Mexico.
State borders are not a problem anymore.
No.
Amazing how that is. But let's take it one step further. Matt Hardy is one of the best 2023 and 2024. It puts him in the top 25. Matt, let's make sure I give this right for you. Did I say were you ninth overall?
I think it was ninth overall, yeah.
Ninth overall out of 627 originators for Expert Home Lending. Who powers back behind Greenlight Mortgage Group, who's also was number 6 in the nation as a mortgage broker. So it's not like we're saying there was 12 of you and you were number 9. There was you're top 10. Yeah, you only had 10 people. That's not what we're saying. We have some of the best in the entire nation under one platform. And 2 years running, why was he not in 2022? Because he didn't get here till November. So,
which was earlier.
That is just, oh man. Here's a question for you. This leads me right into it. 'Cause I want people to enjoy this. If you just could grab a cup of coffee and just listen to this interview, because somebody has figured out how to be better than average, to be successful day in and day out, year in and year out, again and again and again. By the way, he was successful before he ever came here. This is not a platform thing. This is a Matt Hardy thing. Matt, talk to me. How long have you been in the broker business? Broker side.
Just the broker side. My old company kind of changed back in like basically 2019, 2020. Right around there is when we switched from independent mortgage bank to mainly brokerage.
How was that transfer for you? Because I have a feeling you were successful even as a direct lender, but how's that changed for you now? Is it too overwhelming with 147 lenders? Do you use 147 lenders?
I think that's like a good question because I get that asked all the time for people that are like looking to maybe join my team. And I thought it was incredibly easy. Like a loan's a loan's a loan is what I always tell everyone. And it actually made me grow. I mean, we were told this story at the independent mortgage banks or a big bank that you're not going to be able to do this. Brokerages aren't going to be able to help you. And, it ended up being like the complete opposite. And that was what was so funny is that when we switched over, a light bulb went off and I was like, oh man, I could do more business this way than at the independent mortgage bank. And that's like the funny part of the story, I think, is that, you have more freedom, you have ability to do more types of loans because like you said, we have 147 different lenders behind the scenes. I use 6 of them, 7 of them for the most part.
Too.
And it covers everything that I need within the business. So yeah, I mean, I think it was an easy transition. I mean, after like honestly 30 days, right? I mean, you're talking about literally no time at all, 30 days, and you're hitting the ground running. It's easier. You've got better interest rates. You have more flexibility. You can get paid more. It's like one of these things that we all wanted and didn't realize it was right in front of us this entire time.
Well, we're very glad that you I think you could have went anywhere. Just if we're being honest, you probably have people hitting you every single day. The direct lenders are coming out of the woodworks and everything, and that's fine too. Whether we get you for a day, we get you for a year. The goal is you're not my employee. We're partners, and my goal is to try and oversupply you what you need so that you can make your realtors look good and be successful for your borrowers. Because obviously we're purchase oriented, and that has been the difference of my career being purchase oriented versus I used to be refi oriented. And
Yeah.
I lost hard in the 2008 crash and I had to reinvent myself. And kind of that's how I became who I really am today. I was a good broker,
Yeah.
but I became a better broker when I started realizing there's always purchases, no matter what market. I got better with investors, and my investors they taught me a lot. It's a numbers game for them if it makes sense. It's like, and they're not afraid to make offers that make sense for them.
Yeah.
Versus worried about hurting somebody's feelings. It's like, I'd love to buy your house, but it only makes sense at this number for me based on today's rates. And if you don't want to do it, that's cool. We can part friends. Don't take it. You can always just say no. I
Yeah.
mean, you
Yeah.
don't need to get your feelings hurt. Um, I want to know because you live in the great state of Colorado. You live in Boulder.
Yep.
First of all, go Buffaloes. Oh, sorry. I went to Boulder and I'm walking around like, where's the stadium? They're like, oh, you're kind of walking on the campus. I mean, I'm like, what? Like, yeah, this whole thing is Colorado, Buffalo area. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right on. Um, Beautiful Boulder. I've never been to Boulder except when we had that event, and I was like, wow, this is a really beautiful place. But it reminds me of, is it 300 days of sun a year?
Yeah. About 300 days of sunshine a year.
Okay. And you're not in loan mode because we know you're best of the best. We're going to talk about that a little more. But when you're not in loan mode, when you're not going 100 miles an hour, when you're not working on your team, when you're not having team events, realtor events, when you're not getting it done, speaking, whatever, what does Matt Hardy do in his spare time or off time?
Well, my wife hates me on this. I mean, I've got probably too many hobbies. I like to bike a lot. I'm
Okay.
always like training for something. That's like something that like, allows me to, like set goals, push myself forward. So usually it's like gravel biking, mountain biking. I moved out here from North Carolina, God, 23 years ago, just purely for rock climbing. I think school was second, but yeah, mainly for rock climbing. So I'm doing that. Got my kids into it.
Do you still
And
do it?
so, oh, say again.
Do you still do that rock climbing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. So we're still doing that, and we're actually doing a trip this summer, like kind of centered around that.
Okay.
Trying to get the whole family into it.
Got to have a stomach for that. I went to Yosemite and I watched people going up El Capitan. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how they get much further off the ground. It drives me crazy. Um, that's awesome. I don't think we've had anybody say they're rock climbers, any way, shape, or form. Um, what made you decide to put a team together? Why not just go individual? Wouldn't it just be easier that way? Why a team? Why do you help others? I mean,
Well, it's funny you say like, would it be easier that way? Because I feel like in some aspects it might be, but I think the reality is like this team. I don't want to go and like say that like I built this team because maybe in the beginning I would say that, but now the team has kind of built itself. And everyone's so good that we all lift each other up. And
mhm.
it's something that I didn't even realize, I think, from the beginning that that's what would happen. Um, and, as another person joins and they're really good, and I can see it in like our G chat that we have, and they're answering questions that I didn't know. I'm like, man, I'm just so thankful for this. I would have searched all day for this answer, and I just got it from this really amazing person. So to me, it kind of just like happened organically. and also maybe a little selfishly in the sense that I wanted to show like I felt like I found when I found Expert, I felt like I was finally everything that I wanted in the mortgage business.
Okay.
You've got someone behind you that is experienced. They can fund quickly and they're super nimble, but they allow you to be like an entrepreneur in that sense and have your own name and grow your own team and do all these things I've always wanted to do, but never had like the ability to do it. So it was like having the ability to do that then kind of spawned the whole entire team. And then that kind of fed upon itself and it's allowed it to grow and grow and grow. And all of us get a lot better. So,
Yeah. It's funny that you say it that way because, it's just like if I go through the characteristics of a top originator, um, they have this pattern that they wake up every day and they do, but that energy that it takes to do that. When you first start out, you take somebody who's not doing that, and they're like, "Gosh, this is a busy day. Like this,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's a productive day." And but eventually you get used to it. Your day feels weird if you're not doing the things that it just, you overcome that and it becomes ingrained in you to do things. Well,
yeah,
Expert was the same way. People are like, God, why would you have so many DBAs? What a pain in the butt. All the stuff you got to file, you got to deal with all the different states. And it's like, it was hard at first, but now it's ingrained in us who we are because it means so much to the people that we do it. And as long
yeah,
as it's illegal to do it in whatever state, why not do it? Why would we be so, you have to use our name?
yeah,
It's just not necessary. And so it's just interesting. What was hard to a lot of people is because it's hard for them to do. They can't imagine having to spend that kind of energy and time to get it. And I'm like, well, it's just part of our daily routine.
yeah,
And it's important to what we do because it's important to the people that we're bringing on. And look at the look at the outcome of doing those extra steps.
yeah,
Because if we don't, somebody will, you
yeah.
know? So long as it's legal, we do it. And I'm amazed at the difference in the states. I mean, Colorado is one of the most business friendly states, but obviously you do business in a lot more states than that. But I got a great question for you because I'm not letting you off the hook this year with just real easy ones. But you know, you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
If you could go back to that kid coming out of high school with what you know today between your ears, what you've learned, what you've seen, um, what advice would you give to that young Matt Hardy coming out of high school? I mean, I say that, like, what about college? Well, you might tell him, don't go to college, go do this. I mean, how about that kid coming right out of high school who's saying, what's out there for me now? Knowing what you know today, how would you fast track that kid into a direction?
That's a good question because I actually like one of my goals, because we have the University of Colorado here. I was kind of wanting to, I want to try and have like a class that I could teach at the university. I know now we're talking about a university level, but I could also try and teach at a high school level or just something. Because not just with mortgage lending, but I guess with a focus on mortgage lending, but a lot of this business is building relationships. We know that, but it's kind of being true and always be like just honest with the word, with your word, and growing off of that, being like a pillar of the community, trying to get better and better in that sense. And then it comes down to grit too. It's none of this stuff is easy. And I think like that was one thing I was like just told as a kid that you go and you look at these people that are successful. It doesn't matter if it's an actor, they're Matthew McConaughey, or they're Michael Jordan or whatever. At the end of the day, when you go and find out like what made them successful, it's just a lot of just hard work is what it is. There's just like no shortcut to it. And so like don't expect there to be a shortcut because that's just how it is with everyone. So, if you're saying, okay, someone's come out of high school, how do you go and teach them to do a job like this and be successful at it? It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of relationships. It's going to take a lot of no's and a very few yeses. And you have to learn from those failures, all those no's. You got to learn from those, tweak the message a little bit, learn from your yeses, grow on that a bit, and you kind of fine tune it over and over and over the years, but it's not going to be success overnight. Um, and also you've got to just be good on the back end of doing things. People, it's so funny. Whenever I say something without confidence to a client, they know it right away. And I don't even know if they know it, but they know it. And so how you say something with confidence, it comes from a lot of education. It comes from also just personal confidence in yourself. Um, and so how do you go and build that throughout time? It just takes time. It takes repetition.
I think over the years, people, I don't always have to have the answers, but people come to me and say, but just trust me, he'll, if anybody could figure it out and get the answer. So it became a trustworthy place. Just get it to Rich, he'll figure it out if it can be figured out. Um, I also don't sell people. It's like, hey, if you're comfortable and we want to do business, if not, I'll give you advice. And sometimes I might not be the best option for what you're doing. Let me
Yeah.
lead you in the right direction. But just constantly trying to do right by people, I feel like it comes back tenfold, and
Yeah.
people are like, is it measurable? I'm like, I don't want to be a salesperson because I don't like when people sell me. So why
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell them. Um, I've done this business a lot of different ways, but for me, it's just, I sleep good at night. I tell people what I can do. I get that I might have 20 people telling them something different. And I'm like, cool, but I'll stand behind this all the
Yeah.
way through. So
Yeah.
I like that one. Um, you know, this is definitely for a Matt Hardy at this age. You know, what's the biggest misconception that people have about what we do?
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm just getting your opinion on these. There is no right or wrong answer, but
Yeah.
you've been doing this for a while now. You're in sales, you work with realtors, you work with high ticket items.
Yeah.
So I find this answer is different, especially where people are actually live. It really changes based on where people live.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I think, because sometimes I think about it through like the lens of a realtor, what we do. Um, and I think a lot of times they're thinking like we're just kind of crunching numbers all day, maybe. But it's also not that far different from their jobs. It's building these relationships, whether it's with clients or other realtors. I feel like that is a lot of it. I feel like the other piece of it is trying to give clarity to our clients, because I have to realize that they are not like us. They're not dealing with numbers all day long. They might have a PhD in psychology, and they're not thinking about these types of things that we're thinking about all day long. So I think it's trying to like be a funnel and bring it down and just bring clarity to the numbers, how we're going to get there, and what the outcome is going to be.
Right.
Whether people think of it like that, I don't think so. I think they're thinking that I'm just dealing with numbers all day long and I'm tweaking interest rates and doing this and doing that. And that is not really the case. You're talking to clients and you're trying to calm them down through a stressful time and bring clarity to the situation and bring professionalism to it. That way they come out of it feeling like they understand it, and they, come out feeling like they were well taken care of.
You know, I feel like that movie, The Big Short, came out, and you have the one scene where they're asking the loan officers, and you got, I was a bartender last week. Now I'm
Yeah.
driving a 3 Series.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people, that's what they think a loan officer is. And quite honestly, you'd be right. For a while there, that was part of what was out there because it was crazy and there was so much business that we had people just coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
But guess what? Those people got squashed out of the industry. We went from 400,000 at the end of 2021 to less than 100,000 licensees. Less than 28% of licensed realtors last year did an actual transaction. And I was thinking about this the other day. Based on these numbers, the 20% do 80% of the business. That means that 80% of the loan originators are fighting for the remaining 20%. It's
Yeah.
almost harder to be unproductive because there's so much more competition than there is because you have. It's like, why is that? Because someone like Matt Hardy does double digits every month. He's not just fighting for one loan.
Yeah.
He has trusted resources. So you're getting the leftovers after the top people in the industry are gone to. And so it's like, would you rather fight for the 80%, or do you want to fight with 80% of the people out there going for the final 20%?
Yeah.
And I need people to start thinking that a little differently. Um, I would tell you, if you look at it like an 8-hour day, it's the same 8 hours. The question is, how are you going to use them? But I like that. I want to ask you this question, and this is just, you've been successful for a long time. So if I blindfolded you and I got your wife's permission and I blindfolded the whole family and I just put you on a plane and we parachuted you off and you landed somewhere other than Colorado,
Yeah.
you can't have access to the old book of business. You have to start today with all this between your ears,
Yeah.
and you got to rebuild. What's the first thing you do?
I think going back to like the things that I love, like whether that's climbing or biking or running or whatever it is, you try to build a network of people that you like from there. And not even having like in your mind, like I'm going to use these people for business. It's just building a community. So it goes back to that. And like just being genuine, like I like to do those things. I'm going to meet people that are like-minded like me. Um, that like to do the same thing. They're going to go introduce you to other people. It goes back though to what I said about in high school. It's like not fast. It's not overnight. So that's kind of like the long game because you have to build your community within the community you're going to be in. And then you've got to go and do the hard work too, where you're just essentially almost cold calling. Like I'm just going to go and talk to divorce lawyers, financial advisors, introduce
Mm-hmm.
myself in the community. Don't put that stuff off. You need to do that within the first month of being somewhere. And when I say the first month, like you need to be done by the first month. You need to have all
Right.
your
The whole
like,
community should know who you are.
yeah, and not to go like, I mean, you try to make like real conversations. There's no fast way to do it because, I mean, I used to think about this all the time. Our neighborhood has like 200 homes in it. Well, statistically, like 35% of people don't have mortgages, you know? So you're saying, all right, well, that 70 is gone. So there's 140 people in our neighborhood that have mortgages. Well, in 2020 and 2021, I thought to myself, I could refinance 140 people, just in my own neighborhood. But now it's maybe one, you know, like maybe two. I don't know, but it's probably one or two. Went from 140 down to two. And so I've got to go and create relationships with people that are seeing the changes happening, right? Divorce lawyers, financial advisors, other types of attorneys, real estate partners, things like that within the community. But I need to have all those conversations done within a month. And then you have to follow up with it again and grow that and grow that and grow that. So I don't think there's like a quick fix to it. I think it's just going to be another grind. But I think the fun part of it is that you've got to focus on like, we all have these networks in place wherever we're at. I like biking and climbing, but other people might like painting and, pottery. And so you've got to go and focus on those things that you enjoy. And you're going to go and meet like-minded people, and they're going to introduce you to other people. And, selfishly tell everyone what you're doing. But as long as you're genuine about it, uh, they're going to be like, oh, Matt Hardy, he's a new lender. He's great. He's awesome. And they're going to go tell someone else, but it takes time.
I'm picturing you, you're hanging off at 100 feet up in the air and you got the guy coming next to you. Hey, what's up? Here's my card. Call me if you need me. Meanwhile, hey, what do you do for a living?
No, it's true
um,
though. It's like, that stuff will happen after like at a beer afterwards or something like that. But, it is true. It's just, it takes the long game.
Definitely, definitely. What does a day look like? What's your day look like?
Yeah.
From a top producer, you wake up in the morning at what time, and where does it go from there?
I mean, it's kind of nice. It's dictated by my kids, with school and stuff. But, we're up at 6:45 and I get the kids out the door at 7:16 and I start working at 7:30 basically. It's kind of nice because it's like a little slower. It's before the market opens, right when the market opens. So I try to get a good hour and a half of work done to about 9. I've sent out texts, calls, emails, or whatever it is to new clients or real estate partners or whoever. And then from 9 to about 10:30, I usually either go for a bike ride or go to the gym and either climb or weights or whatever it is. Um, I try to do that every single day for about an hour and a half. And I come back, and that's when I kind of structure the latter part of my workday. I try to have all my calls basically from about noon to 2 p.m. or maybe noon to 3 is when I try to have all my calls, whether that's to clients or to agents.
Okay.
I try to have all that stuff done then. My kids get back at 3:05, so I try to always be there for them whenever they come home.
Hmm.
And then I'll do calls again then from about 3:30 to 5 p.m.
Okay. How about your team stuff? Do you guys meet every week? How many people are on your team?
Yeah. Yeah, so we meet once a week via Zoom for the most part, and then once a month in person. And so we meet every Thursday for about an hour. We go over our wins, our losses, kind of like what we've learned, what we didn't learn, some of the gotchas in the industry, what's changed. I think we have about 25 people now,
Wow.
and it's
It's one of our
it's
bigger teams.
yeah, and it's grown nicely. And the nice thing about it is everyone is really experienced. That's the unique piece of the business right now, is that we have so many different loan officers out there, and it's going to be a problem, I think, down the road, because are we teaching those people coming out of college or high school or whatever businesses like this and how to grow and how to be successful? I'd say right now, no, because the business is pretty saturated right now. And what's nice though, from like a team perspective, is it means that we can have like the best of the best on the team. And that's what's so cool about it. And I was telling that's like what kind of allowed us to grow and get better, is that everyone on the team is a top producer, you
Sure.
know. I mean, I know we were
They
just
are.
like rattling off maybe the top 10, or maybe you said maybe, I think it was the top 25 within the company.
Yeah, it was top 25.
Yeah, yeah. But we have a lot of people knocking on that door and wanting to get in, which is pretty cool. So
Definitely. You know, 25 people, that's a lot of people, but they all speak very highly of you. So it's what they say when you're not around. And so not one person that has ever brought your name up has said anything but incredible things. And just want to share that with you.
that's awesome.
You should feel good about that, because
Yeah.
your people like you. There's other people within the company you interact and help and talk to. Um, Even your clients, when they're mad at you, they're not mad at you, right? Because you're so good at helping them through whatever good or bad's going on. But
Yeah.
you've done very well with that. That's something that's not taught within what we do. It's learned over time. It's traits that make you stronger and stronger and stronger. So you have a team that gets to see and interact with that, and it brings them all up at the same time, which is pretty incredible. But here's a question for you. Um, and I know you're crazy busy, so I want to say thank you for your time today. But
No, thank you. I appreciate you doing this.
what inspired you to start this journey in mortgage lending? I mean, when did you start, and why did you start?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if anyone ever goes in the mortgage lending,
I agree.
but in a way that can be kind of true for almost any profession, right? Like, yes, you can go to school to be a lawyer, and now you're a lawyer, you know. But if I go and look at my wife, I go look at my friends and kind of how everyone kind of figured out their way. It happened through like a combination of college and combination of friends and combination of other colleagues and things like that. For me, um, I got into it maybe from a selfish standpoint. I used to work at JP Morgan, and I could
Okay.
see, we had loan officers kind of within the bank that were there, and I would hear their conversations, and I was like, hey, I kind of like that. I feel like that's a job that I would be good at. And at that time I was in business lending, and I was realizing that, man, this is tough. Like there's only so many business owners out there, but there's a lot of people out there that need a mortgage. This would keep me on my toes all day long, basically. So that's how I kind of got into it back in like 2011.
Wow.
And then
Okay, right after the crash, or right during it, really.
yeah, well, I guess that's when I started at the bank. I mean, it really wasn't until 2015 that I got my license. Um, so I should say that, but I think I was looking at it from a perspective of there's more people out there. I'm going to be able to have more conversations, generally speaking. And but I didn't know what I didn't know at that time. And it ended up being like just like a really fun business. And it's kind of funny, like something that you almost kind of stumble into, and then all of a sudden you like it because it's just you're interacting all day with clients, with other loan officers, with processors, and everything is different. It was something that I always wanted. I just wanted stuff to be different. I just could not deal with the mundane of the same thing repetitive over and over and over. And the crazy thing is like client situations is like as normal as they should be, right? Like people should have like just a pay stub and a W-2 and some bank statements.
Nope, we make it really hard sometimes,
Yeah, it's like,
especially nowadays. I mean,
the whole reason they're buying a house or whatever is because something changed in their life, typically. So you're like, hey, what's this $300,000 deposit? And it's like, oh, there's always some story behind it.
yeah. I worked during the crash. I tried to get over to the banking side because they made it sound like brokers were going out, like they
Yeah,
wouldn't be allowed. And so I went to a credit union, and I was amazed all day. My phone would ring, but because of overlays, and we didn't do FHA because those were, hey, the bottom feeders, And I'm
hmm,
like, well, some of these people have 800 scores too, but they had so many overlays that I was like, God, you're giving up a lot of business. A lot of these people could do loans.
yeah,
You're just not doing these types of loans. And like they chose not to go that. Just like we wanted 720 scores or higher. We want conventional. We want 5% down. I'm like, that's one way to do it, but
yeah,
these aren't bad people. Um, they just took a very conservative approach. I thought, and coming from the world where we find solutions to help people win, not solutions to keep turning everybody down. I was just turning people down all day that I
all
knew
day.
could
Yeah,
do stuff. And I'm like, hey, I can't do it. You should call so and so. And I had this one company called Neighbors Financial, and they said, Rich, look, like you're giving us like $7 a month. Why don't you come work with us? And I'm like, that's a great idea. And I
yeah,
switched over because I was trying to learn. So again, a direct lender, and I was learning the purchases because I was refi only going into that crash. So
yeah,
I was learning realtors, getting relationships, and now I was putting the two together, and I had a full array of programs, and I just started, and people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, man, it started with just one thing. I was going to all these network events. I was trying, and eventually I started teaching people like, hey, I can, do you have, I'm really good at helping people fix their credit.
yeah,
And well, I've got some people messed up. Well, I'd be happy to look at it and I can give them a real timeline of what I can get them to. Because here's why. What I learned is when people get turned down, especially in a credit union, my job was to turn them down.
yeah,
My job wasn't to tell them, by the way, do you know you can fix your credit and you could bring it up to like a 620, and then so and so down the street could help you.
yeah,
It was like, no, we don't want them to know that. We want them to keep getting better till they get to our standard. And I thought, man, we're turning people down. We're not even helping them, knowing that we're not even supposed to let them know that, by the way, I can't help you, but you could still buy that house. We just can't be the lender on it, but so and so, you could
yeah,
still be a homeowner. And I thought, ooh, I'm not comfortable with that. And I thought that's kind of a weird business model. Be a solutions person, not somebody that just keeps blocking people, you
yeah,
know? And so I learned something from that if I can't do it, but I know somebody can, I'll point them in the right direction. And that's how my last company, the name Answer Home Loans, because I was constantly answering questions for people over that crash. And that became the right thing because I think we spend a lot of time answering questions and doing advertising, meeting people to occasionally be able to do a loan.
yeah,
But the right things that you do in a day will equal a certain amount of business over time. And I just would dial it up a little bit more, add another, spoke to the wagon wheel of advertising or meeting people. until I finally got to enough. I'm like, okay, this is cool because I'm getting 8 to 10 deals a month.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes part of my daily routine. And then sometimes you go through slow times, but I'm like, I would stay with it. It was always consistent. I'm a big believer in energy. I want to spend energy. So social media, I can do a video like this, and we're not talking rates. So someone wants to learn about Matt Hardy today, a week from now, a month from now, they want to watch it at midnight, at 3 a.m. It's available, but I only had to do this one time. You only had to do it one time. Our energy was perfect at the right time, and we captured it, and now it can go on and on and on and on. And I know a lot of people are going to watch this because your name carries a lot of clout, and a lot of people want to know more about you. So I do appreciate that. It's a blessing for all of us, which is kind of good. Here's something. What's a weird or unexpected fact about you that most people don't know?
Oh, man. Oh.
Come on, Rich, you really set me up for these.
Oh man, you set me up. Weird, unexpected fact.
Let's see. I had somebody tell me they're a pub singer. I had somebody they're a Rubik's Cube champion. I mean, I get all kinds of answers to this question.
God, okay. I mean, the most unique thing. Oh, this is kind of gross, but I've got a web toe.
Okay, so Aquaman, swimmer,
Yeah.
but don't like to swim in the water. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny, they have these gloves that you can swim with, and they have paddles, but you can also buy the webbed gloves, which are a little bit easier and not so evasive. But I'll swim with those because I'll cheat. I feel like I'm Aquaman. You can cover like twice as much ground. Enjoy that. But thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Might have to edit that one out.
Edit that one out. That one.
Does your team know this? I might give the web award. No. How about this? What's the wildest thing that's ever happened to you?
Oh man, the wildest thing. Well, it's so funny because it's like one of these moments that you gotta like kind of think about. And yeah, I think I was traveling in South America.
Wow. Okay.
And we were climbing down there. And I got cerebral edema when I was up really, really high.
You got what?
Cerebral edema. It's like kind of when you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain.
All right.
I was at like 22,000 feet or something. And you kind of just like lose.
Not a good time to get that, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a bad time to get that. It happens when you're at high altitude sometimes, and you haven't acclimatized enough. And so it gets really, really scary really fast. And so you have to go down really quickly. And I made it down, obviously, which is good. But you kind of like no real recollection of what happened. That's like the other kind of piece of it.
Wow.
So
okay.
It's kind of like a weird, like near-death experience, but you don't really remember it because you were kind of out of it the whole time.
Have you ever, I've seen these people do this where they'll climb up and all of a sudden they have these tents that they can put into the side of the mountain and and they'll stay overnight. You ever done that?
Yeah.
That's absolutely, I'm not going to say it's crazy. It'd be crazy for someone like me. I would just be, first of all, anymore as I've gotten older, I'm not afraid of heights. I just find I start shaking even at the top of a ladder.
Yeah.
I just don't feel confident anymore in it.
Yeah.
I'll hike, but you're not going to get me climbing a tree and stuff like that. As a kid, I'd climb and be swinging in the wind, no problem, Just crazy.
As we get older, I think we get like a little bit more worried about risk and all those things.
I'm older than you, so it's catching up. It's more important to be a grandparent at this point in time.
It creeps up on me too, though.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
I got 10 and 7, about to be 11 and 8.
Okay, great age. What does your wife do for a living?
She doesn't work right now, but she was in brand strategy. She was
all right. Does she help you with your brand?
She's helping me with my brand.
Right on.
But in terms of like mortgage ballers, she's like brand baller,
Okay. She knows the right words. I like it.
She's really good at that. She's really good at that. She's taking a pause. And actually is helping me like a good amount, like with the stuff behind the scenes that I am not good at, I am good with doing loans, and I really enjoy like, helping my team and having the team help me, but I'm really bad at the other stuff, and she can help me out with that.
I like it. My wife helps me. She's my appointment maker, doctor appointment, dental appointments, any appointment. She my travel agent. I'm like, she's like, how can I help you? And I'm like, well, this stuff drives me crazy. And she gets good at it. She'll, when you want to leave and when you want to come home, and I come home, she's like, all right, it's done. I've got you a hotel here. And I'm like, oh man, this is awesome.
It's so nice.
And she enjoys that. So, she feels part of it because she gets to hear about it all day long, right?
Yeah.
Being married to me.
Oh, I know. Same. It's funny though, how like we're all good at different things. And like, like I could talk to people all day long and it would exhaust her, but that's like uplifting for me. And then I, having to do the brand stuff and all these other things would drive me just crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Matt, I can't say thank you enough. Number one, for taking the time. I know you're busy. I know you got a team that's waiting for you. I know you got stuff going on, but you took and I've been trying to get this interview with you because it's not easy, I think, since February 1st, because we had to fit it in to your schedule, not mine, yours. But congratulations on being best of the best and a second year with Xpert. Congratulations on an incredible team. I think you have the biggest team of all.
Wow.
And again, you have some top performers on there that you partner with, which is incredible. Can't say thank you enough for your partnership with Xpert Home Lending between Greenlight Mortgage Group. Done an incredible job, absolutely incredible job. A lot of people look up to you. You're always great with knowledge, wealth of knowledge, and helping others. They love the help you give, the calmness, we can do this. We do this all day long. But I can't say thank you enough. I wish you nothing but continued prosperity. I hope you have an incredible 2025. But I just want to say thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you too, because honestly, it's one of these things that I've found success, but I don't think I would have found it without your company. And I think, I've got to go and give a huge thank you to you and the rest of the owners, because it was something that I've always wanted. I think there's a lot of other people out there like me. I know there are, like, on our team, but even ones that we don't even know about that would benefit, because once I found out about it, I still remember talking to you guys. It was late October. I mean, honestly, I think it was like October 27th or something. And within the first 30 minutes, I was like, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing. And I moved over 4 days later.
Well, it was good. Those are good conversations for all of us, because we look back, we're like, hey, that was a good one.
Yeah. So thank you.
No, I appreciate it. There you have it, everybody. That is Matthew Hardy. He goes by Matt Hardy. Don't interface it.
It's okay.
But at the same time, he's leading a group of incredible individuals. We've got Greenlight Mortgage Group. They got 25. Hey, if you want to reach out, I want to put his information there, because some people would say, hey, you know what? I don't like being on an island by myself. I'd like to talk about what's the team concept. I could use positivity like that, because it might be that's that little dial they got to turn to get from where they're at to that next level. And some people don't want to go it alone. Don't be afraid to reach out to him. I'll put his email in there. I'll put his phone number. Maybe go sit into one of their meetings with them. I don't know. Talk to some of the other people on the meeting, and on the team. There's incredible people on there, but what does a team mean and things like that? Like, understanding they're all individual loan officers, but they're finding time for these common things to lift each other up and become better, become more knowledgeable. They have expertise that they can bring to the table. You don't have to feel like you got to go it alone. You really don't. So
appreciate that.
Are you still there for me?
Yeah.
There you are.
There we go.
They're like,
my internet
went not moving anymore. No problem. But Matt, thank you so much for your time today. And like I say, anytime we get an incredible interview with one of the best, stay thirsty, my friends. Matt, thank you so much for your time today. I'll get this set up, and I hope a lot of people learn from it and benefit, and I hope you get a lot of calls.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Cool, man. Thank you so much.